On July 15, 1815, Napoleon surrendered to Captain Frederick Maitland on the HMS Bellerophon. Once in custody, the question became what to do with him. The decision was made to move Napoleon to an island, but it needed to be one which would prevent him from coming back into Europe. In October of 1815, Napoleon would arrive with 27 followers to Jamestown, St. Helena. The island, which was located 1,162 miles from the coast of Africa, was seen as an ideal location to exile the emperor. To prevent any possible escape, the British government would garrison 2,100 soldiers on the island and had 10 ships sailing around it to prevent any other vessel from coming in to rescue the deposed French leader. Now, despite all of these safety measures, rumors continued to persist about escape attempts, and yet no validity ever came from them. When Napoleon was moved to Longwood House, the bungalow was found to be a damp, windswept, rat-infested, unhealthy home. The Times reported that the living conditions was an attempt by the British government to hasten their old enemy's death. Napoleon would also circulate reports of his living conditions in the hope that the Allies would be forced through public pressure to move him from St. Helena to somewhere closer to Europe. Despite these conditions, Napoleon would insist upon imperial formality. His attitude of being treated as the rightful ruler of France would be scorned by the island governor Hudson Lowe. Now, Lowe was given instructions not to recognize Napoleon's former status, but in addition to this, to cut his expenditures and make everyone in the household sign a guarantee that they would stay on the island indefinitely. Effectively, Lowe was going to cut Napoleon off from the world and all those who were with him as well. In November of 1818, the Allies announced that Napoleon would remain on St. Helena for the rest of his life. With the news of any chance of getting off the island dashed, Napoleon entered into a state of depression. With the sanitary and health conditions of the island never being properly addressed, Napoleon's health continued to deteriorate. In March of 1821, he was confined to his bed, and for the next month, he would write 2 wills declaring that he was murdered by the British government. On May 5, 1821, Napoleon would pass away. There was a great deal of mystery concerning his death, namely, was he poisoned? There were those that believed that, quite possibly, the British government, tiring of having their old nemesis still around, decided to finish him off. It would take the better part of 200 years to determine that the cause of death for Napoleon Bonaparte was more likely than not due to stomach cancer. Initially, his body was buried on St. Helena, but in 1840, the British government allowed for the body to be removed from the island and sent back to France. On December 15, 1840, Napoleon was given a state funeral in Paris, attended by upwards of 1 million people. In 1861, his body would be interred in its final resting place, in a sarcophagus in the crypt under the dome of Les Invalides, and thus would bring about the end of Napoleon Bonaparte.
For more information, please consider these suggested titles. Be sure to click on the left-hand side of the screen to subscribe to our show, and on the right-hand side for our latest episode. And we will see you again for the next episode of Milling Through History.